Right, catch-up time again, and lovely and cosy and warm in the Western Clubhouse today because the weather outside is pretty shocking, if I'm honest.
It's raining sideways.
Sounds rough, Ollie. Do you have an umbrella?
Had one.
Where is it?
Inside out, 2 miles away.
But yeah, we're going to talk about what's potentially my last carp fishing pretty much of the year. I've got a couple more tiny things. I've got a 2-day festival at Monk Hall, and I'll probably fish a winter pairs at Monk Hall as well. But other than that, I think my carp fishing has now came to an end for 2023, or my commercial carp fishing anyway. And the last few matches I've done have been, I've had 2 lovely Wednesday opens that I've actually fished at a venue just around the corner from my house. We've never been before. The first one we've actually filmed as a live match of Winning Ways, and it was a venue that the prerogative was to go to a venue that I've never fished. So we went to this one right down the road from my house, and I loved it. It was Cheshire Oaks Fisheries. I fished the last 2 Wednesday opens on there, and I've absolutely loved it. First one, I came second with 100 odd pounds, so that's the one we filmed. And I went back again the week later, because I really did like it that much. And it was very similar again. I had quite a scratchy, gone a bit colder, but I had a lovely match, catching some fish on pellets across, catching some fish on maggots down middle, and catching some biggers down the edge. And I didn't do as well at one. I was third. I had 99 pound I had. Yeah, 99, I think 131, there was 100 as well. But lovely little venue that's just, it's nice not travelling and not having to go a million mile an hour for once, just enjoying fishing. So I've really, really enjoyed that. But the last, I'm going to say the biggest event, not the biggest of the year, but the last big event of the year was the Drennan Winter Pole Champs at Tunnel Barn, which I've just fished. Just got back literally a day ago. We spent the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday down there at Tunnel Barn. 126 anglers, I'm going to say, fished it. Just as popular as the Daiwa event that they run in June. It's doing pretty much a mirror image of that event, but Drennan cover this one. Absolutely phenomenal with all their prizes that they put in. And yeah, it has been brilliant. Everyone's there, all the usual who's are fishing. Oh, Power wasn't there. I don't know why wasn't Ginger Kid there. I was missing Power. Power, I missed you. But anyway, he's probably won enough at Whiteacres in 2 weeks, hadn't he? That's all. He was just sick of winning. He thought, give someone else a chance. Yeah. So first day went in. It's standard format. Section wins. Section points to win. How big were the sections? The sections were 6 pegs. 6 peg sections. So you got to win your 6 pegs. 3 days on the bouts to win. And with them being small sections, or relatively small, you have to win. Simple as. In that sort of field and with sections that size, you are never, ever going to win that event without anything other than 3 wins. It was the way it was going to be. So I don't actually enjoy that. I feel like the pressure's on. But it's part of it. I mean, there's nothing negative about it. It's just me personally. I don't like that feeling. Like the pressure's on all the time, because as soon as you don't win, it's over. But anyway, first day into the bag, and I always say this, but I drew a weird one. One that I've never, ever been on. I tell you, in my life, I've only been on, fished 1 match on Jenny's pool. It's, for whatever reason, it's the only lake I don't draw at Tunnel, but I drew it. And I drew 17, which, it's a good bit, to be fair. I always want to be, on Jenny's, if I drew on there, I'd want to be 17, 19, 21, 26. That sort, it's always the best bit in the winter. A little bit wider, it's just the best bit. I mean, 15 and 13 to my left can be very poor. This was the best bit. And I had a lovely day. Yeah, it started across. It was absolutely solid, fishing hard pellets across. I've had 50 pound in the first 90 minutes probably. Really, really good start, catching some carp and some big F1s. Lost my way a little bit in the middle, but caught a few on maggots up and down at 13 metres and a few short. And I had a brilliant finish. I had 30 pound last half hour in the edge. Got 6 fish, 2 F1s that were about that big. Absolute ridiculous things. And 4 carp as well in the edge for probably 30 pounds. I finished the day with 117 pound, which won me section, won the lake. More importantly, got me a few quid and was 6th in the match, which phenomenal payout. I think I got 200 quid for being 6th in the match. That's, if you've not had a look at the money that's on offer to be won at Tunnel Barn and them events, you need to have a look. It's ridiculous, like beyond the joke, ridiculous the amount of money that gets paid out.
Right then, you lovely lot, our brand new Winning Ways merch has just arrived. We have got the blue hoodie, the black hoodie, the grey polo, and also available is the limited edition Perch on the Curve t-shirt. So head over to www.winningways.shop and get yourself them bought. Yeah!
So yeah, made up when we start, went home happy. The next day, where did I draw the next day? I drew my plums off again the next day. I drew 33 on house, another one I've never ever been on. So 33 on house is you go over the bridge and it's the far end of the island. But it's a very, very shallow peg, so I was wasn't feeling it. But Christian had been on it on the Saturday in a practice match. And he'd won the match with £160, so it was always going to be good. And he gave me a great little tip about a gravel bar that's down the edge that I knew about and I'd forgot about. And to your left-hand side, there's a lovely, it's like you're almost fishing behind yourself. But if you cut these reeds or the tree back a little bit, there's this lovely shallow gravel, rock hard bottom to fish on it were good, really, really good. But anyway, standard match, caught pellet short to start with, then fish shallow for a bit, not my sort of thing. But probably spent half an hour doing that, catching some stockies. Got bored of that pretty quick. I didn't feel I was going to catch a big weight doing it. So I got bored of that and I started fishing pellets to the island, sort of nearly into the next peg, nearly into 32. There's like a bit of a bay in the island. Very, very nasty bottom there though, because all the tree had fell in over the years and it was all messy. Stop laughing in the background, Mr. Andrew May. Behave yourself. It was a mucky bottom. And I caught probably about a rainforest's worth of trees in that peg, but it was also full of carp. And I've had like 10 or 12 carp there up to like 6 or 7 pound. Actually took the next fella out as well. I haven't told you to this. I'll tell you the story later, but yeah. The first one I've hooked went right the way through next fella's peg, poor Jeremy on the next peg, and took his rig out, and we were both playing it. But anyway, that was the first one. I beefed up after that, it never happened again, and he was very, very good about it. Not something I want to do is interfere with someone else when they're fishing, but anyway. And then I finished on this gravel bar last hour and a half. It was amazing. Being nice and patient, sitting there, and I'd catch a big F1 or a great big carp. I've had 3 10-pounders. Don't even know where they come from. I've had 3 10-pounders down this edge for £140 I've ended up with, which fortunately was second in the match, won me a load of money, but it was second in my section as well. Danny Keenan was on 29 and he's for shallow pretty much start to finish and caught £157, I'm going to say, which actually turned out to be the biggest weight of the week. So if he hadn't caught that, it probably cost me about 1,500 quid. So cheers for that, Dan. Anyway, no, he did well. He won the match and say the biggest weight of the week, which they also pay off that one. But it did mean that it was all over for me. There was no way I could win. I mean, which it's what I want to do. I want to be there to win. Anyway, still loads and loads of money. They paid top 16. So next day, travelled all the way back and I drew 44 on the high pool. 44 high pool, which is the best bit of high pool. The best bit of high pool for me is either peg 15 or you want from 40 to 50. That is the bit, specifically when it gets cold, because it's so deep, so wide, it's just where they live. That's where they go in the winter. It's the best bit. However, it was very, very, very windy and wide, which made it really, really difficult to fish. And I was amazed at the depth as well. It's the first time I've been on that bit. And I plumbed up and I've got sort of 6.5 foot in the middle. And I keep plumbing up and keep going across. And it stayed the same to within 2 foot of the far bank. I've still had 6.5 foot. And I'm against the reeds and 6.5 foot. I'm like, flipping it, that's proper deep. And then I've only got a couple of little pokey holes I can get into at the back. Where it came up a bit, it came into 4 foot. But I've never actually managed to fish that all day because it was too windy. I couldn't hold my pole in the little holes. The only way I could hold it was down a bit in the nice bit. And it was just too deep and I fished the wrong match. Like really did fish the wrong match. I've had a very scatty match, catching on pellets to start short, going on pellets long, waste of time, loads of indications, no fish. And I've sort of just ended up fishing a short maggot match and a down the edge with ground bait and maggots that I've ticked over. I've got lucky with a couple of big carp, but I've ended up with £80, which were third in my section. So Bradley Gibbons on peg, 50 the end peg, bit calmer up there. They could fish a bit neater than we could. He's had £100, caught lots of little fish. And then Sam Slockett on 40, which is sort of facing the wind. He's been like the end peg sort of in our section there. He's had a really good spell, shallow to finish. He's won the section with £105. But fair play to him and fair play to both them lads. They were in the same position as me with a first and a second. So all three of us knew we needed a win to get us in, to get us into the proper money anyway. So failed miserably on that. I think I should have fished 13 metres just with maggots and cupped them all day rather than loose fed any. I think that would have been best for 3 hours and then finished in the edge. But got it wrong, messed it up, and it cost me a flipping boatload of money. But never mind. So yeah, that was the Masters for me. Ended up with 6 points. Didn't even get in with that. I reckon I'll have been 20th maybe with that. Just out the top 16 that he paid. And then the rest of it was the usual suspects. So Mr. Bennett, who's... I spoke to a few people about it since. That is Andy's party trick. That type of fishing, when it's clever F1 fishing, when they're on the bottom, lots of maggot fishing, no one's even close to him at that. He is the best by miles at that type of fishing. And he's just took the mick. I mean, off not, he ain't even drawn good. There's not a single peg that he's drawn that he's like, oh, Bennett will win off that. He hasn't. He's just drawn pegs. Just all standard, nothing fancy about them. And he is absolute. I think he's framed every day. He's been first in the match, third in the match. He'll have hit the bar. He had £100 on Jenny's. He'll have been just absolutely different class at that sort of game. So fair play to Andy. Well deserved, as it always is. Who was next? Christian? No, Danny Keenan. Danny Keenan was second. Fair play to Danny as well. He had 3 wins again. Just fell behind, quite a bit behind on weight. I think he was about £100 in the end. Behind Bennett on weight. He's done brilliant off steady draws. And Christian completed the frame. In fact, there was another chap as well. Jeff. I forget Jeff's second name, but there were 3 of them. Christian was third, and Jeff as well. Again, all 4 of them had 3 points just to make the top 4. So it just shows the standard and how well you have to do that week to compete. But it's the standard. Same people always framing that have got that type of fishing down so well. But brilliant event. Absolutely loved it. And say a nice little final hurrah to my carp fish for 2023.